What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here. Welcome to day 117 of the 365-day graphic novel review challenge. Today, I want to talk to you about Red Sonja, Queen of the Frozen Wastes. Yes, I am doing another Sword and Sorcery Barbarian story. This is a 4-issue miniseries from Dynamite Comics by Frank Cho, Doug Murphy, and Hams, an artist named Hams. That's how he's credited in the book. I don't know if that's his first or last name. But this is a story where Red Sonja is in the Frozen Wastes. She's fighting in some kind of battle, and she accidentally falls down into a hole and lands in this underground cavern where there is this evil demon queen who has these abominable snowmen that work for her, and then she has some human slaves, and then she turns Red Sonja into one of her slaves, and Sonja has to try to find a way to escape. And this story is pretty good. It's got just about everything that you could possibly want in a Sword and Sorcery story. You have this evil demon queen, and there's actually something about her that I'm not going to reveal. It's kind of a reveal at the end of the story in how this demon queen is destroyed. You find out something about her. I don't want to talk about that, but that's a neat reveal. I really like that. This story has big monsters that our hero fights, and then you've got this sort of underground arena type thing that Red Sonja fights in. It's got a lot of really cool tropes that you often see in these barbarian type stories in this genre, and I really like seeing that stuff. This is a pretty good story. There's just one little problem that I have with it, and that is the character of Red Sonja here feels a lot like the character of Conan the Barbarian. She doesn't really feel like her own character. She feels like female Conan. And that's a problem with a lot of these barbarian type characters in all of these stories. Cole is very similar to Conan. Claw the Unconquered is very similar to Conan. If you did a Justice League of Sword and Sorcery barbarian characters, they would all basically be the same character type. So that's not a problem that's exclusive to this story, but it is a problem in this story. And since this character has been around for well over 40 years, I think that that's a problem that could have been fixed by now. And speaking of that, at the beginning of this book, it says that this is a character based on someone created by Robert E. Howard. I did not know that. I thought that Red Sonja was created by Roy Thomas in the Conan comics from Marvel, but I could be wildly mistaken. But I was under the impression that she was not created by Robert E. Howard, but this book says that she is. But this is not a bad story, like I said. But if you are familiar with the character of Conan and you've read several of these Sword and Sorcery type stories, then you might read this and you might think that if they replaced Red Sonja with Conan, the story wouldn't change at all. And you'd be right about that. There's really nothing in this story that is exclusive to the character of Red Sonja and specific to her. This feels like it could have been any of the Sword and Sorcery barbarian types and the story wouldn't have changed. That's not to say that it's a bad story. It just doesn't necessarily feel exclusively like a Red Sonja story, like this had to be her story. I think that they pretty easily could have thrown in a line or two here or there that made this feel like her story. You could have given us something like she feels very strongly about slaves. She doesn't want people to be slaves or something like that. That's something that you could say about Conan also, but you could have thrown in a line that would make her feel like a more unique character, I think. But overall, I would say this is like an 8 out of 10. It's not a bad story. Definitely a good jumping on point for the character of Red Sonja if you want to know more about her. This was, I think, the first Red Sonja story that I read other than her first appearance in Conan, which was in that Essential Conan book that I talked about a few weeks ago or a month ago. But that's about all that I have to say about Red Sonja, Queen of the Frozen Wastes. I hope that you guys liked this video, and if you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with a different video. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of your day. Catch you later.